The Galactic Council chamber floated above a blue star, shining like a jewel of power and pride. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in silence, their bodies different in shape, size, and color. This council had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had seen wars, extinctions, and empires rise and fall. To them, nothing was truly new anymore. A tall insect-like commander spoke first. His voice echoed across the chamber. He laughed softly and said the word that had just appeared in the ancient report. Humans. A wave of quiet laughter followed. Some delegates shook their heads. Others clicked their tongues in amusement. To most of them, humans were nothing more than a myth. Old space stories told to young cadets to scare them into obedience. A weak species from a forgotten planet called Earth, gone silent centuries ago. The council archivist, an old being with glowing eyes, floated forward. He opened a hologram filled with broken data and faded images. Cities, oceans, and small starships appeared and vanished like ghosts. According to our records, the archivist said calmly, humans existed 300 years ago. They were aggressive, emotional, and unpredictable. Then they disappeared. Exactly, another council member replied. They destroyed themselves. Like many before them. The council agreed. Species that burned fast always died fast. That was the law of the galaxy. Humans had simply followed the pattern. But not everyone believed that story. At the far end of the chamber, a small figure stood. Dr. Selen, a deep space scientist, adjusted the light around her eyes. She had spent her life studying silence in space. Not empty silence, but unnatural silence. The kind that felt planned. Humans did not destroy themselves, she said carefully. Her voice was quiet, but it carried weight. Several council members turned toward her, annoyed. They went silent, Selen continued. No signals. No trade ships. No colonies. That is not collapse. That is control. The chamber grew tense. A few leaders leaned forward. Others crossed their arms. Selen activated her own data. Strange energy readings appeared near the edge of known space. Small at first. Almost invisible. These patterns are not natural, she said. They match old human technology. Improved. Refined. The insect commander laughed again, louder this time. You are chasing shadows. Ghosts. Myths. Selen did not argue. She simply said one final line. Silence does not mean weakness. Sometimes, it means preparation. The council dismissed her warning. The meeting moved on. Trade routes. Border disputes. Minor rebellions. Humans were forgotten once again. Far away from the council chamber, near a dead star system, a small alien patrol drifted through space. Their mission was routine. Scan. Record. Move on. Nothing ever happened out here. Until the sensors screamed. A sudden flash of light tore through the darkness. Not an explosion. Not yet. Space itself seemed to bend. The patrol captain shouted orders, but it was too late. A wave of white fire passed through their shields as if they were paper. In seconds, the patrol ship was gone. No debris. No signal. Just empty space. Back at the Galactic Council, alarms began to sound. Reports flooded in. A deep space station had vanished. No enemy ships detected. No warning signs. Just, fire. The council leaders stood in shock. Dr. Selen looked at the data feed, her heart racing. The energy signature was clear now. Too clear. She whispered to herself, they are not a myth. Far beyond the edge of known space, something ancient and powerful awakened. Massive structures powered up in silence. Thousands of dark shapes moved together, hidden behind stars. For 300 years, humanity had waited. And now, the stars were starting to burn. The Galactic Council chamber was no longer calm. The blue star outside still shone, but inside the hall, fear had begun to grow. Screens floated in the air, showing red warning signs and broken signals. One by one, reports confirmed the truth no one wanted to accept. A deep space patrol was gone. A mining station near the outer rim had vanished. No wreckage. No enemy trace. Only strange energy burns left behind, as if space itself had been wounded. Council members argued loudly. Voices overlapped. Accusations flew across the chamber. This is piracy, one leader said. No pirate can erase a station in seconds, another replied. It must be a new rebel weapon. Dr. Selen stood silently, watching the data streams. The energy readings were becoming clearer. The pattern repeated each time, precise and controlled. Too perfect to be chaos. She stepped forward again. This force is testing us, she said. Small strikes. Clean strikes. They are watching how we react. A large armored council member slammed a claw on the floor. Who would dare test the council? Selen answered without hesitation. The ones you called a myth. Silence fell again, but this time it was heavy. Not mocking. Not amused. The council ordered long-range scanners to activate. Beams of light spread across known space, reaching into regions that had not been touched for centuries. The scanners returned strange results. Stars dimmed for brief moments. Gravity fields bent slightly, then returned to normal. Something big was moving. Carefully. On a remote listening post near a red dwarf star, an alien technician rubbed his eyes. He had been awake too long. The signal on his screen made no sense. It was old. Very old. A frequency not used in the galaxy for hundreds of years. Then the signal repeated. It was not noise. It was structured. Clean. Intentional. The technician reported it immediately. Within minutes, the signal reached the council chamber. Audio filled the hall. Not words. Just a rhythm. Calm. Steady. Almost like a heartbeat. Dr. Selen felt a chill. She had heard this pattern before, deep in ancient human archives. It's a beacon, she said softly. A gathering call. Before the council could respond, new alerts erupted. Entire star systems near the outer edge went dark. Not destroyed. Powered down. Communication arrays shut off at the same time. A commander whispered, that level of coordination is impossible. Selen shook her head. Not impossible. Just human. Far beyond council space, hidden behind a chain of dead stars, massive structures glowed faintly. Ships larger than cities rested in perfect formation. Their surfaces were dark, absorbing light. No flags. No markings. Just quiet strength. Inside one of the ships, human officers stood at their stations. No panic. No shouting. Only focus. A human commander looked at a holographic map of the galaxy. Points of light marked council worlds, fleets, and defenses. Everything was mapped. Studied. Understood. They still doubt, an officer said. The commander nodded. Let them. He raised his hand slightly. A simple command. Phase 2. Across space, human probe ships activated. Invisible to most sensors, they slipped through alien borders. They did not attack. They observed. They recorded. They waited. Back at the council, fear finally broke into action. Emergency fleets were ordered to mobilize. Ancient defense lines were powered for the first time in centuries. The galaxy prepared for a threat it still did not fully understand. Dr. Selen watched the stars on the screen. One by one, distant lights flickered strangely, like sparks before a fire. She whispered the truth no one else would say aloud. They are already here. And somewhere in the dark, humanity listened in silence, ready to answer the galaxy at last. The first battle did not begin with noise. It began with light. Across the outer edge of the galaxy, stars started to change. Some grew brighter. Others dimmed for a second, then returned stronger than before. Alien astronomers panicked as their charts stopped making sense. Gravity shifted slightly. Space felt tense, like it was holding its breath. Then it happened. A massive wave of light exploded out of empty space. Human ships emerged. They did not come one by one. They came together. Thousands of dark shapes tore through space in perfect formation. Each ship was huge, larger than the greatest alien war cruisers. Their surfaces reflected starlight like black glass. No symbols. No warnings. Just quiet power. Alien sensors overloaded instantly. "This is impossible," shouted an alien fleet commander near the border system of Karth. There were no warp signs. Before orders could be given, the human ship stopped moving. They did not attack. They simply arrived and waited. A moment later, a human signal spread across open channels. Clear. Calm. In simple words. "We are humanity." Every alien ship froze. The words carried no anger. No fear. No threat. That made them far more terrifying. The Galactic Council received the message at the same time. The chamber fell into absolute silence. Even the proudest leaders could not speak. The data on their screens confirmed the nightmare. This was not a raid. This was not a single fleet. This was an armada. Dr. Selen stared at the projections. Her voice shook, but she forced herself to speak. "They were not hiding," she said. "They were waiting for the right moment." At the Karth system, an alien defense fleet moved forward. Their shields flared to life. Weapons charged. The commander believed numbers would save them. They always had before. The human ships did not move. A single small craft detached from the armada and drifted forward. It was tiny compared to the others. Unarmed, according to alien scans. The alien commander shouted, "Fire a warning shot." A bright energy blast shot through space and struck the small craft. Nothing happened. The blast vanished, swallowed by a thin layer of light around the human ship. The barrier faded, unharmed. The human response came instantly. One beam. It was thin. Silent. White. The alien flagship was cut in half. Not exploded. Not burned. Simply divided, as if space itself had sliced through it. The remains drifted apart, powerless. Panic spread. Alien ships opened fire. Hundreds of weapons filled space with color and noise. The human shields absorbed everything. Not a single human ship moved out of formation. Then the armada advanced. They did not rush. They did not chase. They moved forward slowly, like an unstoppable tide. Each time an alien ship attacked, it was erased in seconds. Clean strikes. No wasted energy. The battle was over in minutes. The Karth system fell silent. Across the galaxy, similar scenes unfolded. Defense lines that had protected alien space for centuries failed instantly. Ancient weapons did nothing. Shields collapsed like mist under the sun. Still, the humans did not destroy worlds. They did not attack civilians. They targeted fleets, weapons, and command centers only. That confused the galaxy more than the destruction. At last, a direct message reached the Galactic Council. Video this time. A human stood on the screen. No armor. No weapons. Just a calm face and steady eyes. You called us a myth, the human said. You were wrong. He paused. We did not come for revenge, he continued. We came because the balance of the galaxy is broken. The council could not reply. The human added one final line. Stand down. Or the stars will burn brighter. The transmission ended. Dr. Selen closed her eyes. She felt fear, awe, and something else she had not expected. Hope. Because humanity had returned. And nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. The galaxy did not sleep that cycle. News of the battles spread faster than light through panic and broken signals. Entire fleets were gone. Defense lines that had stood for centuries were erased in minutes. Yet planets still lived. Cities still glowed. Civilians were untouched. That mercy confused everyone. Fear grew because there was no name for it. At the Galactic Council chamber, emergency lights flashed constantly. Leaders who once laughed now sat in silence. Some trembled. Some stared at the floor. The blue star outside felt colder than before. An elder council member finally spoke. His voice was low. They could have destroyed us all. No one argued. Dr. Selen stood near the central display. The map of the galaxy had changed. Human ships were everywhere, yet nowhere close to civilian worlds. Their paths were clean and deliberate, like lines drawn by a careful hand. They are controlling the war, she said. Not unleashing it. A general from a warrior species slammed his fist down. Control means nothing. They humiliated us. Our fleets fell like dust. Selen met his gaze. And still, your homeworld stands. The word struck deeper than anger. Across the galaxy, alien commanders struggled to hold order. Some fleets surrendered without firing a shot. Others tried to flee, only to find human ships already waiting in silence. There was no chase. No cruelty. Just quiet dominance. On one border world, an alien governor watched the sky from a tower balcony. Human ships hung above the planet, dark and still. They did not threaten. They did not speak. Citizens gathered in the streets, afraid to look up. Then a message reached the planet. We are not here for you. The ships slowly turned away and left. The governor collapsed to his knees, shaking. Fear mixed with relief. The humans could choose destruction, yet they chose restraint. That terrified the galaxy even more. Back at the council, a final emergency vote was called. The topic was unthinkable. Surrender. Some leaders shouted against it. Pride burned in their voices. Others argued for peace, their fear barely hidden. Dr. Selen spoke one last time. You believed humans were emotional and reckless, she said. But what we see now is discipline. Patience. Control. She paused, then added, those are the most dangerous traits of all. Before the vote could be cast, every screen in the chamber activated at once. The human signal returned. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just clear. A new human appeared. Older. His face showed lines of time and weight. He spoke slowly. We have listened to your fear, he said. Now listen to our truth. The council leaned forward. For 300 years, we watched the galaxy, the human continued. We watched wars that did not need to happen. Worlds stripped of life. Weak voices silenced. Images appeared behind him. Forgotten planets. Broken species. Old council decisions that had cost millions of lives. You called us a myth because it was easier than facing your mistakes, he said. The chamber shook with quiet shame. We do not seek to rule, the human said. We seek to end cycles of destruction. A council leader whispered, and if we refuse? The human looked directly into the camera. Then we will remove your ability to cause harm, he replied calmly. The meaning was clear. Dr. Selen felt a strange calm settle over her. For the first time, the galaxy's future felt guided, not chaotic. Outside known space, the human armada held position. Engines silent. Weapons charged but unused. Waiting. The council finally understood. Humanity did not return as conquerors. They returned as judges. And judgment had only just begun. The Galactic Council chamber had never felt so small. The blue star outside still burned, but no one admired it anymore. Every council member knew the truth now. The galaxy they controlled was no longer theirs alone. Power had shifted, not through chaos, but through calm force. The human representative remained on the screen, silent, waiting. He did not rush them. That patience pressed harder than any weapon. At last, the eldest council leader floated forward. His voice was weak, stripped of pride. What do you want from us? He asked. The human answered without hesitation. Accountability. A ripple of unease spread through the chamber. For centuries, the human continued, you decided which species deserved to live, trade, or vanish. You called it order. We called it cruelty. Images filled the air again. Worlds taken for resources. Treaties broken quietly. Species erased without record. We were watching, the human said. When we were young, we trusted the galaxy. That trust was broken. Dr. Selen felt her breath catch. She realized then that humanity's silence was not fear. It was mourning. You thought we disappeared, the human went on. We didn't. We learned. Across space, human ships sent signals to every major world. Not threats. Truth. Historical records long hidden by the council were released. Civilizations discovered lies told about their past. Anger rose, but it was aimed at the council, not humanity. The galaxy woke up. A council general stepped forward, voice shaking with rage and fear. If you are so just, why attack us at all? The human's expression hardened slightly. Because you only listen when power speaks. Silence followed. We removed your fleets, the human said. We broke your weapons. We did not touch your people. That was a choice. The council understood what was being offered. A path forward. The eldest leader lowered himself, floating closer to the floor. Slowly, painfully, he bent in a gesture that had not been used in thousands of years. Submission. One by one, the others followed. Dr. Selen watched history happen. Not through fire, but through truth. The human representative nodded once. This is not the end of your council, he said. But it is the end of your unchecked power. He raised his hand, and the display changed. A new system was proposed. Shared defense. Open records. Protection for weak species. Any violation would be answered, not with speeches, but with action. Human action. Why now? Selen asked softly, unable to stop herself. The human looked at her, and for the first time, something warm showed in his eyes. Because the galaxy is ready, he said. And because hiding any longer would make us the villains. Outside the chamber, human ships finally moved. Not forward. Away. They withdrew from core systems, leaving behind only observers. The galaxy breathed again. Days later, stories spread. Children looked at the stars differently. Not with fear, but with curiosity. Old myths were rewritten. Humans were no longer legends. They were real. Watching. Protecting. On a quiet human ship far from the council, a young officer looked out at the stars. Do you think they understand us now? She asked. The commander nodded. They don't need to love us, he said. They just need to remember us. The officer smiled faintly. For 300 years, humanity had waited in the dark. They were never a myth. They were the fire the galaxy forgot. And now, the stars would never forget humanity again.